Cheers and welcome to S.O.V and Beers. I'm your host Tony Masiello from SOVhorror.com. This is a new little show I'm going to try doing, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. Today we're going to take a look at a film by Todd Sheets, Bloodthirsty Cannibal Demons. Okay, before I really get into the film, I'd like to talk just a little bit about Todd Sheets and how I was exposed to his work. My favorite horror film of all time is a little movie by Dave Dakota called Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bolorama, starring the great Scream Queens Linnea Quigley, Michelle Bauer, and Brink Stevens. And just like many horror fans, I'd get Fangoria and a bunch of other horror publications. And I saw this little ad in the back of there for a little movie called Sorority Babes and the Dance-a-thon of Death. Now, obviously, being a huge fan of Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bolorama, I had to see Sorority Babes in the Dance-a-thon of Death. I knew nothing about the movie other than the probably really brief 3-sentence description that was in the ad. And so I ordered this movie, and I watched it, and let's just say I probably shouldn't talk too much about that movie. I love you, Todd. This was my first exposure to Todd Sheets. It was originally put out by Cinema Home Video, I believe, or was supposed to come out on Cinema Home Video. This is the Video Outlaw tape I have here. And Cinema Home Video was a short-lived video label by director Dave Dakota, and he was pretty much paying no-budget filmmakers about, I believe, $600 a pop to make these, shot-on-video horror movies. That's how Jared Bookwalter got his big start. He did Dead Next Door before that, but I believe he did about produced six video features for Dave Dakota's label. Anyways, so that's kind of a little bit of background on that. And Todd Sheets had been around for a while. He's probably best known for his Zombie Bloodbath trilogy, great series of shot-on-video movies, and maybe even the Bimbos trilogy, which is Bimbos BC, Bimbos in Time, and Prehistoric Bimbos in Armageddon City. Say those 3 times fast. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump actually into the movie we're talking about today, which is Bloodthirsty Cannibal Demons. Now, first off, I'll just say this is not an easy movie to find. I probably got this tape about 10 years ago, and I think even then I paid probably way too much money for it. If you can find it now, you're very lucky, and I say snatch it up, and we'll go into the reasons why. So what's Bloodthirsty Cannibal Demons all about? So the movie focuses around these 2 rival gangs that are kind of fighting each other. And the gangs are led by 2 guys. One guy's name is Snake. The other guy's name is Jake. I'm guessing that's maybe a reference to Jake the Snake Roberts. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. I don't know. So these 2 rival gangs are fighting. And during their scuffle, they end up in this kind of old movie theater. And in the movie theater, the owner, along with one of his co-workers, and the owner is actually played by Todd Sheets' regular Jerry Angel, who anyone who knows Todd Sheets movies, I got to take a drink to Jerry Angel right now because Jerry's just so cool and I love him in everything. So Jerry and his cohort find these street thugs fighting in the theater, and so they go to kick them out, but all of a sudden they notice that the theater is actually bricked in. They can't get out, kind of similar to the movie Demons by Lamberto Bava, if you've seen that one. And so obviously these street tough gangs are not very happy about that, and so they decide to kill Jerry and his friend. And the way they kill his friend actually is really fucked up, and I want to point this one out because it's probably my favorite death scene in the whole movie. A couple of the girls who were in the gang actually nail his foot to the stage floor, put a noose around his head, and then proceed to pull on the noose. Now, obviously, what's going to happen is he gets decapitated and blood flies everywhere while the girls laugh in glee. It's an amazing, great scene. I love it. But by spilling the blood in this theater, they awaken the spirit of this old witch named Haggis, who's played by Carol Barta. You'll probably recognize her from a lot of other Todd Sheets films as well. She's kind of an older actress. And she rises and brings forth her horde of bloodthirsty cannibal demons to take out these gang kids. And so pretty much you got 12, 13, 14 kids. It's quite a lot of victims in this movie just getting offed one by one by the demons, as well as Carol Bartha. Now, to talk about the cast a little more, one of the reasons I love this movie so much is Augie Alvarez. That's all I gotta say is Augie Alvarez. He plays Jake in the movie. He's one of the leaders of one of the gangs, and I like to call Augie Alvarez the Keanu Reeves of shot-on-video films. He's kind of got a Brooklyn-esque accent, but he really kind of has the demeanor of a Keanu Reeves, or especially early Keanu Reeves, when you think, something like River's Edge or the Bill and Ted films, or even Bram Stoker's Dracula. If you can imagine that, that's kind of Augie Alvarez in his delivery. He's great in it, though. I love him in it. He's also in another film. It's actually produced by Todd Sheets, but directed by Matthew Jason Walsh under a pseudonym, under the name, I think it's Michael Black, called The Witching, which is another one of my favorite S.O.V movies. Maybe we'll talk about that another day. But yeah, Augie's great in it. Like I said, Jerry Angel's in it. If you would recognize Jerry Angel if you've seen Todd Sheets movies. He's the guy with the mullet and the mustache. And he's kind of the farmer in the beginning of Goblin, if you've seen Goblin. And Jerry Angel, obviously, the guy steals the show. Any scene Jerry Angel's in, he's hissing, he's just maniacal on screen. He eats up scenery like no other, and he's just so great in it. And to go back to Carol Bartha, who plays Haggis, and it's probably my only complaint with this film, is the whole movie, she is just cackling. She's literally like, ha 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 ha, and she does not stop cackling the entire movie. And they have this kind of reverb effect on her voice, and it's kind of a little obnoxious. The first few times I actually watched this movie, I just could not stand that character. But on my viewing last night, on my rewatch last night, which I did on the projector on the big screen, I absolutely loved her performance. Actually, she was just cracking me up. She's a lot of fun, and she obviously brought a lot of energy to that role. Overall, Bloodthirsty Cannibal Demons is a great freaking gore movie. It's got, if you like the zombie bloodbath movies, if you like Goblin by Todd Sheets, this one's a lot more polished than a lot of his other works. Another notable thing would actually be the locations. So there's a lot of good production value in it. I believe most of it was shot at a theater in Kansas City. It may even be the same theater I think that they shot The Paranormal at, Todd Norris's film. And Todd Norris actually has a credit on this movie as a gaffer, so obviously he helped out a bit as well. And the locations are just great. It really adds a great creepy atmosphere to the movie. And the other thing I would say is the great soundtrack. There's a great heavy metal soundtrack. If you love cool 90s heavy metal and death metal, there's some really good tunes in there. I noticed some Circle of Dust in there, which was a band I was into when I was younger. And great soundtrack. So great gore, great soundtrack, great cast, Bloodthirsty Cannibal Demons. I can't recommend it enough. It's probably grown to be one of my favorite Todd Sheets films. And in the name of S.O.V, in the name of Todd Sheets, I just want to say cheers. And hope you guys enjoyed this review. Maybe we'll do more if the response is good. Thank you guys. Cheers.